Hello and welcome to Our Waking Dream. I'm your host, Coco Swanson. Each week on this show, I spend about 20 minutes going over some basic astrology theme that's moving through the week or through the season. And ideally, I explain it in a way that's user-friendly. Although keep in mind, I am explaining what's like a foreign language if you're new to astrology. So each week, if you're new, I invite the first 10 minutes to just wash over you. And so you'll learn a little bit each week, but don't expect that you'll learn the whole language each week. However, the second 10 minutes of the show, the second half of the show, is more on the interpretation and how it's relevant in your life. So I link up the mapping of what's going on astrologically with practices rooted in energy healing, contemplative awareness, or ritual, or this week it's a dance move. So that's more on the soma in the body. I use astrology as a map to point out what practices might give us the most traction. Okay, this said, please share. This is 6 months now of me showing up, and share this. I haven't been investing in marketing, obviously. I've been working on the behind the scenes, working on some new projects. But right now, this traction is primarily organic. And so share it with people that would be interested. Review, subscribe, depending on what platform you're watching or listening. Thanks in advance for doing that. Just share as you're drawn to. Okay, let's look at this week. First off, happy solstice. If you are listening on the northern hemisphere or from the northern hemisphere, happy winter solstice. If you're listening from the southern hemisphere, happy summer solstice, the longest day or the shortest day of the year. Also, the equinoxes are exceptionally noticed and celebrated within ancient cultures. That's evident by how buildings were created. And there's a lot of places around the world that have light up only on solstices and equinoxes. They're really powerful. There's something called the March of the Equinoxes that is a lot larger. It's a 24,000 year cycle. We happen to be at the end of one of them. So this equinox is a pretty big one. I'm going to explain more on the basics of the North Node. So we've been looking at Pisces a lot this year. If you are listening to this every week, you're getting a full immersion of Pisces and Neptune and Saturn. But we have the North Node in Pisces too. And I bring it up again because this week, today, Venus in Sagittarius is squaring. That creates transformational geometry with Saturn. And then on the 24th, Venus in Sagittarius is squaring Neptune at the last degree of the zodiac in Pisces. So to me, this merits yet another week of practices aimed towards Pisces and Sagittarius, which this last new moon 2 days ago on the 19th it's a Sagittarius new moon squaring Neptune at the last degree of Sagittarius and the last degree of Pisces. So I was talking about it last week too. I was thinking about talking about something else. However, this is such an important piece right now to understand and embody. The full embodiment of all things Piscean and all things Sagittarius right now is the go button, is the power move. So we will talk about it again, but from a different facet, a different angle. Pisces. Well, when we have the north node of the moon, which talks about our collective destiny, dharma, where if we place emphasis and efforts on, we will gain a lot of traction of what our soul individually and what we are collectively here to, what we're here to embody at a soul level. What our highest timeline, or what if I heal, how can my destiny level up as a soul of what I'm here to do and experience on planet Earth? These are big questions, right? Pisces North Node is how much can I surrender, let go of, or in another word for that is how can I allow for loss and death of old structures, relationships, ideas, patterns. How can I let go and surrender? And then dream and imagine and feel and vibe and make art and forgive. These are all Piscean strengths in order to align with my heart and my soul and our heart and our soul's greatest desire. These are big questions, but it's Pisces North Node. So that's what we're asking, or what realm the questions and the practices are highly advantageous for the year and a half that the North Node is in Pisces. So that's a bit of a mouthful in itself. So North Node's in Pisces, and then we've got Saturn and Neptune at the final degrees of it. Well, the question's there. It's what's it like being in huge currents of change right now? How are you in change and instability? Because Pisces, the great surrender, it's the exhale back to source, so that when I inhale, I have fully emptied. The more I empty, the more I can receive from life in its next breath in. So practicing non-attachment is a huge, again, power move in Pisces. The more we detach, the more we exhale, the more we are able to receive. So this said, it's squaring the Piscean, not the nodes. The nodes of the moon are not squaring Venus right now. Venus this week today, and then on Christmas Eve, is squaring. So transformative relationship with the two planets, Saturn and Neptune, that are in Pisces that just stationed direct in this last month. So we look at Venus in Sagittarius. Venus in Sagittarius is about changing passions. Think of Sagittarius, it's the arrow. It's mutable fire. I like to call Sagittarius, it's jazz hands. It's they who show up in the room and bring light to the room. It's mutable, changes. It's following your heart's desire. With Venus, it is about what we value. It is about, Venus is a planet about our heart's desire. So right now, in this time of great change, in this season astrologically that indicates huge change, how are your passions changing? And in what ways are you experiencing loss around your passions changing? This is the awareness we want to bring into this week. Let's talk about the practices that I suggest. And it's more about questions that I suggest bringing to this week. The first practice is always about observation, because when we simply observe something, it gives it more freedom to change. So the questions, it's where in your life have you been experiencing the most change? Where in the world are you witnessing change? So there's twofold. It's personal level And that at a collective level, where are you witnessing change that's been hard on you? What change has created the most emotional response in you? And this, say, I might be really scared about something that's going on geopolitically. Maybe you're really scared about something that's going on in your career or change within core relationships. Where are you most emotionally charged? Either sad, confused, depressed. This is Piscean shadowy or lower frequency emotions. It's sadness, it's confusion, it's doubt, it's that which goes with loss, grief. What are you grieving right now? And how has this season caused your heart's compass to change? That's the sort of inquiry I invite into this solstice, into this last bit of 2025. What eras are changing for you? And what era changes are you witnessing within us that really impact your heart? It's another way of asking the same question. And here's another question. How are you when change feels unpredictable and out of your control? How are you at letting love or divine grace take the reins? Or does your fear response come up so strong that divine grace, that love, that faith that comes through surrender might not be able to reach you? When I wrote notes on this podcast, I opened up to a page in my journal that had something I'd written months ago in it. And true to Piscean form, I trust in the magic of what is given to me when I open up, say, a page. So I'm just going to read this next as this quote from me in my past, because I think it really ties in. So it says, act and think as if my entirety, or your entirety, every passion, project, experience is an essential ingredient in our collective quantum leap. We need each other. That's me quoting me. So, number 2 of what I suggest for you as a practice this week, it's deepening your awareness through ritual, any kind of ritual. I'm a real big fan of altars. I probably talk about them I could talk about them each week. So let me just name a few ingredients of my altar space. One is digital free, so I turn things on airplane mode or at least on silence. 2 are sacred objects, sacred to me. I might have just found them on a walk and gotten that resonant yes when I asked if I could pick up a stick that fell off a tree in a storm or a stone that's on the ground. I get objects and then I set aside a space to breathe and be with what's inside of me. So that's where I bring in these questions. What needs honoring? Or what needs a miracle? What needs more forgiveness in your life, in the world? What needs more trust? What needs your surrender? And what fuels your passion? I would bring the answers to these inquiries and the ones at the beginning of this, I would bring those to the altar. Your altar can be outside with a tree. It's about breath, presence, intention, sitting with what is the inquiry, feeling what was, what is no longer, being with it and letting yourself feel the feels. Feeling the feels while being present and exhaling. Then we place that which we exhale somewhere sacred that it can be held and it can receive the inevitable, which is the inhale of love, of grace, of wonder. That's practice number 2. Practice number 3 is more Sagittarius style, and this one is a lot, you'll get the visuals. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll get more from, because I'm doing a little dance. However, I was thinking about this before for those of y'all that are just listening. So it's the practice of surrendered flow dance, the surrendered flow dance. Pretend like your arms are underneath water and you're making waves, like you're trying to allow the water to move with you moving your arms. I'm giggling because it's fun to try to do this without visuals. Okay, so then the other piece is my elbows. They're bending and my elbows move in and out. Kind of like I'm doing a more of a luau, or I'm like seaweed arms. And it doesn't really matter what it looks like as long as you feel like you're fluid and free. The visual for a dance is impactful. Okay, so you got your arms moving. Then the second piece is you do a little backwards dance. You let your body move backwards in space, with your feet moving backwards. Also hard to do while being hooked to this little mic here, trying to keep a good distance. So basically you do this motion with your arms, fluid motion with your spine. Let yourself move around. And it's literally, you put on tunes and it's, I am learning to surrender and trust in the flow. And I'm learning this in a way that my body can learn, that our bodies can learn, to trust in surrendered flow through a silly embodiment of dancing. I can't help but smile when do this, right? It's like, what are you doing, Cokes? Oh, I'm just practicing embodied surrendered flow. What are you doing? Oh, you too? We're all practicing this together. How's it going? It's kind of hard sometimes. Yeah, I'm learning the free fall. I am learning to trust. I am learning to let go, and then you dance it. And you just bliss out, because how fun is it to just have a body and to move and to learn something different on purpose in our bodies. It's as simple as a dance move. Okay, friends. So this North Node in Pisces, it only lasts till this summer. Saturn and Neptune on Valentine's Day conjunct in Aries. So we've just got a couple more months, less than a couple more months. My time math takes a minute. And to practice it, like, how much surrender can we do? How much flow? How much trust? Okay, reach out to me as always. I'm available. I have some New Year's specials. I'm democratizing my work right now. And so I'm creating all sorts of ideas of how to bring my knowledge to you for less money. And one of those is discounted rates for the New Year's. So reach out, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being a part of our community here at Our Waking Dream. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Fill my cup and let it overflow. Let it overflow with love.